Today we're going to be doing a midweek look and see how the rest of the week will go for the collective. This is the Arcana Veil. We have Anima. That is the feminine aspected principle of the soul. In other words, being receptive. Force, Sun, Lily, Aries. So a lot of forward movement. Invitation. Based on the elements for this week, there has been a lot of information that has come through circumstantial based on your experiences and relative to having to put a certain amount of energy into the forward movement of your decisions. Aries as forward movement, fire. Also asking from you power to be brave, to be direct in more of your approach for this week. And at the heart of the nature, the lily, which regards as looking for that which is the most deepest part of the self that you could still nurture. You can still heal that, bring that to the front and nurture it so that it becomes more corresponding to you within yourself. And that means, in simple terms, that the more you become aware of the deeper nature of yourself in terms of who you are, your spirit, your soul, your emotions, your mind, your thoughts, this week requires for you to nurture those elements, those things, and to be very focused on how to allow for it to grow more in a much more stronger way. In other words, you're being shown that you can, for this week, apply what you know, apply your gnosis to your life. And for others of you, there will be some sort of invitation coming through. Obviously, it's pretty obvious there. But also an invitation to you to be able to bring yourself back into your substantial meaning to who you are. The Anima leads us into that understanding that the forces may require for you, forces as in external elements, astrological forces, people, places or things, or even thought forms, that you need to become more prominent in your nature. Let's have a look and see for the tarot. We have the Four of Cups here, very well aspected, well depicted. We have Persephone. Some of you, some of us, are we not always digging into the deep part? Comfort, bliss. King of Cups. It's a lot of water. Three of Swords. Bottom of the deck, illusions and distortions. So you're being given a heads up here that we need to look and see and address that which may still be on our minds, because of the forces of nature, the events and the thought forms in how it is playing out is requiring for you to be a little tested in a sense. Why does it need to be tested? It needs to be tested because there is a sense of re-evaluation in terms of your path. In other words, in simple terms, and I'll say this again, if you are on a pathway that requires a lot of whatever the case may be for you personally, you're going to be called to take what you're thinking about and what you feel more seriously. If it's negative things, you're being naturally reminded to heal so that you, Three of Swords, are able to overcome all of that King of Cups that has still been on your mind, been in your heart space. and releasing that Four of Cups, moving it out of the process so that you are able to become more purer. So in other words, this week is very much about transmutation and transitioning. So there'll be a lot of illusions that's going to play out, obviously, that may make you feel like you're a little bit hesitant in how to deal with things going forward. But you are shown here comfort, bliss in the heart of the nature where the lily is, that you are protected through this all. So if you nurture negative feelings or feelings of pain, that is what's going to become prominent. If you nurture good feelings, I'm not saying you should stop feeling depressed or you should stop feeling negative things or any of those things. I'm talking about emotions that stay prolonged with you. The self-sabotaging feelings that we often have within ourselves, where we can often sabotage our own way of thinking. Those are aspects that are also habit forming, and habits become hard to let go of. So in other words, balance your thoughts. The energy in the center point is the stronger point between these polarities that are developing or happening as we speak. And so you are given a heads up to know how to manage through this week overall for the collective. Overall outcome for you, Two of Cups, when many of you have been able to bring all of those thoughts back into place again, you have successfully created a union between yourself, your mind, your body, soul, and spirit. And that in itself has become more defined and cleared up for the clarification that is taking place. A lot of forces are going into the underworld and unearthing things that need to be removed from the personal self, things that have become habits that may not have been what we wanted. We may not even have wanted to become habitually in a particular way. And that in itself is this week, crunch week, for letting go of all of that frequencies, that energies that are still stuck. Cord cuttings, contract revocations, mantras, prayers, however you do what you do. Write them all down on a piece of paper. That's what I do. And then read them through and say you break the contract with all of those things. That also helps. It's a form of affirmation. This was the Arcana Veil. I hope you have a good week. Until next week.